pace with control of this race. Here comes a run from Davey Hazard. He blocks the 10. Not going to be enough. Ryan Pace is going to win at Talladega.
Already trying to hold off Wilson. He's done a good job so far. Wilson, one last desperate attempt to the bottom. He won't get there. Nick Curry wins at Bristol.
Coming out turn number 2, coming down the back straightaway here. Looks like he's in a class of his own right now.
Merzlak, one final time, get around the 55, big time send.
He hits the wall, he hits it, he gets the lead, but can he hang on to it? Oh my goodness, he made it to the line!
Big push down the backstretch is going to give him a good run through the corners.
So a little bit
Follow from the 1.
A little bit of contact there for second, but coming to the line, Toby Roberson's going to take home the checkered flag and victory here from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series live on JTN. We're so glad you joined us here tonight. Of course, it is always presented by our friends at Voiles Trucking. I am JoeTowNetwork, joined up here at the booth tonight by the one and only Dewey Schramm. Dewey, welcome back to Darlington.
Glad to be here. Always a very fun track to go to and to watch a race at, and I'm very happy that I don't have to wait more than about 10 minutes to see it, so got a good one on tap tonight.
Great one on tap. This, of course, is your race preview presented by our friends at AutoSim 2. AutoSim 2 now out on Steam. Go check it out. We tell you every week. We're going to keep telling you until you go get that game. AutoSim 2 now available again on Steam. 125 or 129 laps around this track tonight, Dewey. That is a long time and a lot of opportunities to make a mistake.
A long race at a very grueling racetrack as well. Darlington always notorious for being one of the trickiest tracks. The track known as Too Tough to Tame, of course. So plenty of opportunities for gains, plenty of opportunities for mistakes. So we'll have to see which one of these drivers ends up being the best at conquering the Lady in Black.
And how you deal with those mistakes tonight going to be so crucial. Of course, the famed Darlington stripe, such a a piece of the culture of this racetrack, right? And all the just everything that surrounds Darlington, this race weekend when it's on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, and we're here with our friends at Bomb Squad. This track, it's so much not only about being fast on your own, but knowing how you can make up for those mistakes. Because at the end of the day, for each of these drivers tonight, they're going to at least make one mistake. Nobody's perfect.
Absolutely, and if anybody hasn't had the chance to check out the new NASCAR Netflix series, I highly recommend it. But in one of the episodes, I can't remember who it was, but one of the drivers mentioned in it that if you don't get at least one Darlington stripe during the race, then you weren't running close enough to the wall. So
think these drivers tonight I don't know if these drivers tonight agree with that too much. I mean, I don't know, Dewey. I don't know. But qualifying currently underway. Oh, it's completed. Dewey, take us through tonight's starting lineup.
All right, and we have a doozy of a lineup here for you tonight. On the pole will be Tyler Mallon in the 18, off to another strong start this season after the championship win last year. He'll be joined on the front row by Zach Rogers in the 5. It'll be Steve Grant and Joshua Clements making up row number 2, with Wiley King in the 095 rounding out our top 5 tonight. Perry Scott joins him in row 3, and back in row 4 it'll be Greg Lovell in the 088 and Silver Bullet in the 4. BSR Nelly and Magoo will round out the top 10 with DeBandit and Ken Hansen back in row number 6. BSR Eli and Monty Keller back in row number 7, with Ricky J and Brian Voiles back in row 8. And rounding out the field tonight will be BSR KJ in 17th. So a strong field here for tonight. A lot of talent in this field, a lot of experience in this field, and you definitely need experience going to a track like this.
Say Ken Hansen twice?
I think he might have joined in the wrong number and then rejoined in the right one.
Okay, looks like we're missing that 9 car. If we can't find it first. I don't see that 9 car. Well,
Looks like he's out on track right now, but
do you see him?
yeah, it looks like he's in either turn 3 or turn 1 right now.
Right, do you see the paint scheme, Dewey?
No, I do not.
Sponsored by Ford EcoBoost tonight.
Yeah. Got the manufacturer support for this one.
Hey, that's always good to see.
Yeah.
Greg and Kathy, both in chat, welcome in. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday night. Hope all is well. See you guys already exchanging pleasantries, so it looks like everything's doing good. So glad to see it. Hope to continue to hear it.
Interesting to note as well, no brain fade in the field tonight in the 49. I don't remember when the last time we haven't seen him on the track was, but hopefully he'll be back next week or even Saturday for the Lynn Boyles Memorial Race.
We saw the stat 2016. It's been since 2016 since Brain Fade has missed a race.
The Iron Man of the series.
Seeing Eli in the 114 and the 028 of Monty Keller. Lonnie trying to find a way around this 114 car. Oh, he makes contact. Gonna get that out of the way here in practice, right, Dewey?
Better now than like halfway through the race when you can't recover from it. Get it out of your system now.
Get it out of your system.
Out of your system.
You laid that accent on pretty hard there.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. Kinda slips out when you least expect it.
Oh, Tyler Mallon drifting.
That was nice.
Nice. Tyler
Tokyo
didn't win
drift
last week,
action before we get it going.
by the way. Tyler didn't win last week.
Still, arguably the most dominant car to start off the season, but can't win them all. Unless you're Max Verstappen, and then it certainly feels that way. Speaking of Max Verstappen and F1, that news that dropped today was something.
What news?
Lewis Hamilton is moving to Ferrari starting in 2025.
Oh.
Been with Mercedes since I think 2013 or 14, but he'll be leaving them and he'll be going to Ferrari starting next year, which is pretty crazy, honestly.
It is pretty zany.
7-time world champ.
Seven-time world champ?
7-time world champ, the winningest F1 driver in history.
Wow.
He's just a little bit good, I think.
Oh, Bristol. Thanks, Kathy. Bristol says thank you for the compliments.
All dogs deserve endless compliments.
Bristol is, in fact, a good boy.
And a good cameraman.
As he's showing literally nothing
And
on the
producer.
track at the
Yeah.
moment.
He's a one-trick pony, or one-trick dog. You do it all.
I'm getting happy hour just winding down here. Lonnie Keller in that 029. You see the Bandit in the 54. And you know what? Now we're gonna get lined up and get ready to go racing.
Drivers, to your car.
That's good, because I didn't want to wait any longer.
You're impatient.
Yeah, you could say that. But who isn't? We got a great race on tap here for tonight. I'm sure I'm not the only one that wants to get this thing going.
We get the command and engines are fired here from Darlington. Tyler Mallon rolling off from the pole to the outside. Zach Rogers in the number 5. Steve Grant and Joshua Clements there in row 2 with Grant's teammate, the 095 of Wiley King, and the 66 of Terry Scott in row 3. Row 4 is Greg Lovell in the 088. Glad to see Greg back out on track. And the 4 of Silver Bullet. Rounding out your top 10 tonight, the 103 of Nelly and the 54 of Da Bandit. Strong field here once again tonight. Kathy, you got a new puppy. Why haven't I seen pictures? Tell Brian to get on that. All right. Anyways, getting ready to go racing, Dewey. You ready?
I am absolutely ready, Joe. Are these drivers ready, though?
Oh, they might be. They might not be, but they might be. I'm pretty sure they are.
They have quite the tall task ahead of them.
Tall task, 129 laps here around the track that they called too tough to tame.
Well, good thing somebody has to tame it.
Yeah.
At least somewhat.
Enough to take home a trophy and a checkered flag. Field makes their way off of turn number 4. Flagman with green in hand. And we're racing here from Darlington.
Looks like Zach and the 5 brushed the wall a little bit, getting it going there.
That's how you get your Darlington stripe out of the way. Contact already between the 011 and the 92. Clements in the wall.
Yeah, 92's got his stripe already, and we're about 2 turns into this race, as that's going to bottle this field up a little bit there out of turn 2. Around there, Silver Bullet and Nelly in the 103. Bit of a close call there for all those guys. Looks like they've got it all sorted out, and into turn 3 and 4 we go for the first time tonight.
Out front, Tyler Mallon going to lead lap 1. Zach Rogers in second. Steve Grant third. Clements gets back by Wiley King in that 095. He'll move up into 4th.
Zach Rogers all over the back bumper of that 18 of the Tyler. Now moves to the outside here into turn 3, trying to take the lead away. And it looks like he will. And out of turn 4, Zach Rogers will have our first lead change of the night, and the 5 goes to the point.
Looked like Mallon might have conceded the spot here early on. This is something that we see out of this 18 team very often. Heard a lot down in the garage area that these cars are building tight, Dewey. It's going to make it hard for these drivers to get the entire allotment of fuel in their tank down on the pavement, or at least to the rear wheels. As Rogers looks to have... Rogers might have fallen out.
Oh, no!
I'll say that with more conviction. Jeez. That was the most forced oh no I think I've ever heard, Dewey.
Oh, didn't mean to come out that way, but... Yeah, it looks like he might have fallen out of the server, which is an absolute shame because he had just taken the lead and we saw how fast that car was right at the drop of the green. And indeed, he is fallen out, so hopefully Zach can get back in here as quickly as possible and minimize the damage, but that is a very unfortunate way to start the race for that 5 team.
Steve Grant now all over the back bumper of Tyler Mallon. Early in the year, Mallon was trying to run away with the points lead as he did 1 year ago.
Not running away with the lead, though. Steve Grant's got a run here out of turn 2. It gets a little bit loose, and that's going to allow Joshua Clements in the 92 to poke his head up into the battle here into turn 3. He'll get by that 011 for second, and now he's going to try to take a look at Tyler here for the lead.
Dude, it seems like Darlington is one of those tracks that more than any other, it is so hard to run side by side. Why is that?
Well, the groove is just very, very narrow. There's really one, maybe 1.5 grooves on this racetrack, and so when you don't have 2 complete grooves, running side by side can get pretty dicey pretty quickly, especially once the tires start to wear out on these machines. And with a setup that, as you mentioned, starts to build tight as the run goes on, once those tires start to wear more, it's going to feel like they're turning a boat out there.
You don't like driving a boat?
Not very high up on the list of things I'd like to do.
You don't own a dock at the marina?
No, sir.
You're more of a marinara guy?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Zach Rogers back out on track here, going down the backstretch. Looks like he lost 3 laps as a result of falling out. So he's going to need some help in the form of cautions here to try to get himself back into this thing. Top 3 pretty evenly spaced out as they make their way down the backstretch. Steve Grant, Joshua Clements, and Tyler Mallon bottom to top in that order. Obviously the 18 the fastest one so far with the issues with the 5, but he hasn't really been pulling away from anybody so far. Not sure if maybe he's trying to save his tires more than anyone else, or if maybe there's a more level playing field this week.
Silver Bullet just got by Greg Lovell for 4th. And glad to see Greg back out on track tonight in this 088.
Always in that snazzy Texaco scheme as well. Glad to see him back out here and running up in front with these guys. Closing in on 10 laps complete already here at Darlington. Tyler Mallon still out front over the 92 of Joshua Clements. It'll be interesting to see how long this fuel run ends up being, but if we're being realistic, we're probably not going to see a full fuel run at any point tonight with how much tire wear there's going to be.
But, Dewey, the one thing to consider, if you can run the full fuel run, which is about 35 laps, if we do the math very quickly, that puts you at having to make 3 pit stops. Now, if you only do 25 laps, you're going to have to make 4 at least. There are a lot of drivers talk about that magic number being 25. That's where you really want to come in and make a pit stop. If this thing were to run green, as we saw 1 week ago, you want to try to minimize your time on pit lane, you can cut out an entire pit stop.
The question will be if that time saved is worth it, because with a track that's as abrasive as this one is, that 4th pit stop is going to allow multiple laps for the guys that decide to short pit to be out there on fresher tires, whereas the guys that are making 3 stops, they're not going to have those extra laps of fresh tires. So it's going to be a matter of how it comes down to timing and whether or not those guys that short pit can make up the ground. Should be a fun one to find out. It's always nice when you get a track like this and you can see the variants of strategies that present themselves throughout the night. I think the 18 strategy right now is just, run up front and just vibe. Doing pretty good at that. And has been for a while.
Do you like vibing?
I do.
Yeah. Vibing in the Ritz car?
Yeah. Something happened to Greg Lovell at some point. He's back in 12th now after running up in 5th.
Try to see what happened.
My guess would be that he ran into the wall at some point, but regardless, it cost him a lot of time here.
I think he ran into the wall 2 laps in a row.
Oh, almost a spinner out of turn 4. Monty Keller goes down into the inside wall and points it back the right way.
Replay here what happened with Monty. Got Zach Rogers right behind him. Zach does a good job of getting through on that, and then a little bit of contact.
Yeah, brushed the inside wall. They're not ideal, but definitely could have been worse for the 028. Still running in, looks like 7th right now.
Welcome in, Furco.
Greg Lovell slowing into turn 3. Looks like he might be making a pit stop. I think he might have a flat tire, Joe. He's trying to get down to pit road. No, we missed it. I think he might have a flat tire that he's trying to nurse around the track now, and this is going to really hurt him now, unfortunately. Oh, and Joshua Clements goes around from second place, and he smacks the inside wall across the finish line.
Stay green.
Issues galore here throughout the field. Greg Lovell, Joshua Clements, and Monty Keller all with issues here over the last 3 or 4 laps. And just like that, the 92 that had looked so fast is pretty caked in on that inside now.
That was your classic overcorrect, wasn't it, Dewey?
Oh, it was. Very similar to what happened with Monty Keller, but the 92 definitely got way more damage in that exchange than Monty Keller did before. Tough break for Clements, who was running really, really well so far tonight.
So Tyler Mallon's lead gets a little bit healthier now. Over second place, Steve Grant.
Oh my goodness, and he almost just ran into the back of Brian Boyles there out of turn 4.
And that would have been all his fault. Brian was getting out of his way.
Yeah, it looks like Brian's slow on the bottom. I think he's just letting everybody by here. Or maybe about to pit, perhaps? There's Greg Lovell coming out of pit road. I think he lost a couple of laps making that pit stop. So Lovell, who we saw run up front, Clements, who we saw up front, Rogers, who we saw up front, all with issues in the first 20 laps of the race. So it looked like Mallon had some really strong contenders here for this race lead, and they're dropping like flies right now.
Dropping like flies.
Looks like Rogers in the 5 definitely on fresher tires than the leaders, considering he had to rejoin the server. So I think in due time he should be able to unlap himself here in the 5 and get one of his 4 laps back.
Oh, contact with the bandit.
Oh, and into the outside wall he goes, very
Caution.
slow up in that top lane. And that will be our first caution of the evening here on lap 22. Right in front of Tyler Mallon.
The first caution of the night out for the 54, who was slow in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think he might have been slowing down to pit and maybe didn't slow down quite enough to make the corner there on the apron.
Well,
And I'm sure Tyler Mallon's race flashed before his eyes right there. So a good opportunity here for guys like Monty Keller and Joshua Clements to come in, get their damage fixed, regroup, and try to have a better second run of the race. We saw, of course, how much speed, particularly the 92 had in that first run. But we'll see how much of that damage his pit crew can get fixed and how much speed might be left in that car.
Race off pit road won fairly easily by the 18 bunch.
Looks like the teammates Steve Grant and Wiley King second and third off pit road, with Ricky J now up into 4th. So a couple of spots gained there for that 93.
Dude, that's the first caution we've had in over a week. No, in 2 weeks. No caution last week at Atlanta.
Yeah, few and far between right now.
So 130 laps or so, give or take. Of caution-free racing here on Thursday nights. You love to see it.
Indeed, we do.
Now they're gonna go prove us incorrect, aren't they?
I hope not. Greg Lovell looks like he'll get one of his laps back in the 088. Of course, he had just made a pit stop right before this caution occurred. So that 088 still has 4 fresh tires on it, and I think he'll only be a lap down now instead of 2. There's a bit less work cut out for him here on this next run. Zach Rogers, though, he's definitely going to need some more help. Still sitting 3 laps down with multiple cars 1 lap down ahead of him. So it is going to be a long way back for the 5 this evening. And always a shame to see it happen like that as well. Of course, an issue completely out of anybody's control, and it really sets you back before you even got your feet under you. So I'm not necessarily advocating for cautions, of course, but it would be nice to see, of course, the 5 get back in a position where he can be a contender up there for this race lead.
You just want what's best for the fans at home, don't you?
Of course.
Always.
Got to maximize the viewing product.
Folks, if you want to maximize your entertainment, make sure you tune in to JTN. It's Lynn Voiles Memorial. Saturday night, always a very fun, very special race here for our friends at Bomb Squad Racing. Coverage of that one kicking off at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. And 1 week from tonight, we're heading to the Bristol Motor Speedway. Coverage kicking off 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And 2 weeks from tonight, BSR Cup Series heads to Texas, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Those races, much more, they're all going to be live right here only on JTN, presented by
SchemeHaven.com. Your #1 source for NASCAR paint scheme archives. Still in the works, still being updated. Definitely check it out if you got the time. Again, SchemeHaven.com.
.com. You
I
need
should make a jingle for it.
You do need a jingle.
Gonna work on that. Gonna go to the lab.
Oh, the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys are in the racing lab, otherwise known as their cars. They're pacing into turn 3 with the lights off, which means one thing, and that is we're going back green here this time by. Tyler Mallon's still in control of this thing. He's got teammates Steve Grant and Wiley King right behind him. Ricky J and Ken Hansen rounding out the top 5 for the first restart of the night.
All right, here we go. Coming back to green, lap 27 of 129. Mallon with control. We're back on our way here from Darlington.
Pretty good start for the 18, but a pretty good start for the 11 of Steve Grant as well, as he tries to keep that 18 within his grasp here out of turn 2. Does a nice job of it. Might have a run for the lead here into 3. We'll see.
Steve Grant had an opportunity to make a big move to the inside of Tyler Mallon. Elected not to take it that time by, but that has to start to fester in the mind of the driver of the 18. Saw Wiley King clip the wall there off of turn number 4. That checks up the field behind him. Don't look now.
No
Here comes
harm,
Ricky
no
J.
foul there. Yeah, close call for the 95, but that thing's still running good as new here down the back in turn 3. Again, nothing wrong with the Darlington stripe as long as you don't hit that wall too hard.
Not too
Got one
hard.
on the wall into 3. That's Eli in the 114.
Oh, Greg Lovell's saving it off of turn 4.
Slipping and sliding here tonight. Got a big gaggle of cars here down the backstretch. Joshua Clements makes a move into 3 there on Nelly. Give that spot to the 92. Gonna go to work here on Terry Scott, the 66, out of turn 4.
Oh,
And
Monty
we'll get
Keller's
that spot on
around.
the line too. Another close call from Monty Keller.
Oh, no, he hit the wall.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Head on. We're still green, though.
Yeah, that was a bigger hit than his first one, unfortunately.
Silver
That's
bullet to the
gonna-
inside, Terry Scott. That checks up Nelly. Dewey, there's just a lot going on right now, isn't there?
There is. Not enough eyes for it all. It's Ken Hansen with a big moment there out of turn 4 as well. That'll drop him a couple of spots behind Clements and Silver Bullet. We got like 18 different things going on right now and only 4 eyes to keep track of it all. Well, 6 if you count Bristol's. Tower Mountain with a couple car length advantage still over Steve Grant, who's trying to fend off his own teammate right now out of turn 2. Looks like Clements got the wall there a little bit in the 92. That's going to allow Silver Bullet to make a move for 5th, and he's going to get it here out of 4. That 4 car up into the top 5 for the first time tonight, but now he scrubs the wall, and that's going to allow Clements to try to make a move on him.
A lot of back and forth going on right now here in the mid-pack. Not a lot of it going up at the front, though. It's still Tyler Mellon out in front. Steve Grant second. Wiley King in third.
Same order that they were at the restart, along with Ricky J in 4th. So it looks like these top 4 have really put themselves in a nice groove here as this run gets on.
Watch those two Team Speedland teammates.
Yeah, both of them doing a really nice job so far, leading the Pontiac Brigade here in tonight's field. Somewhere, Tommy Bordeaux, friend of the show, will be smiling at that. And now Ricky J makes a move to the inside of Wiley King for that 3rd spot, and he gets it with ease. So Ricky J splits up the Speedland guys here out of turn 2, and he'll try to set his sights now on Steve Grant. Zach Rogers doing a really nice job right now of working his way through the field despite none of that being for position. Oh, actually, no. Looks like that is for position. I think he may have been given his laps back since he lost them due to a connection issue. So that 5 car looks like he's on the lead lap now. So that 5 is flying right now, and he's knocking on the door of the top 5 now, Joe. We were wondering how long it would take for him to claw his way back in it, but good decision there by the admins to give him those laps back with that issue out of his control. And just like that, we have a new contender back in the game with that 5 machine.
You have to be careful if you're Rogers in this 5, though. You still don't want to burn your stuff up too quick. You want to maximize this run as much as possible.
Gets by Ken Hansen there in the 9. Yeah, trying to find that right balance where obviously if you're Zach, you want to get back up towards the front as quick as you can and battle in it, but if it goes green all the way to the end from here, which of course is very possible, you may end up having to pit sooner than anybody else if he uses up his stuff trying to get up to the front. So that 5's got to find a happy medium somewhere and stick with it if he wants to get himself really back up in this thing. So we'll see what he elects to do here over the run as the Bandit has a big moment there out of turn 4, but he keeps it out of the wall.
Greg, I think it might be in the cards because Steve Grant seems to have a lot of speed similar. He says in chat, he'd love to see Team Speedland take home a victory tonight. Steve Grant's got a lot of speed in that 011. Wiley King also has had some really good momentum to start the year in the 095. Both those drivers up towards the front, but as I say that, Ricky J takes over second spot.
Yeah, that 93 is starting to come alive here as this run goes on, but both of those Speedland cars still inside the top 5, and there's still a lot of racing left to do. So by no means are either of those guys out of this thing yet, but both of them with very strong runs so far in this race.
And again, excellent speed here to start the year for that team. So continuing to build. We talk about building momentum and the building blocks of a good season. They're starting to display those characteristics here.
Not only that, but there are very few places to start building momentum than arguably the hardest track on the schedule. And if you can tame this place and come out with a clean race car, it's got to give you the confidence that you can do it basically anywhere.
But Dewey, I thought it was the track that was too tough to tame.
Well, it depends on what your expectations are of taming. And
What about
it looks like
maiming?
you're gonna go by DeBandit here.
What about faming?
I don't know. What I do know is Zach Rogers is about to get in the top 5 here as he's going to pass Silver Bullet into turn 3, or is trying to... Actually, do we have a caution?
I believe we do. Lonnie Keller slow here off of turn 4.
It looks like that pass by Zach will have to wait. Looks like the 028 just got into the wall there in the middle of 3 and 4 and spun down the track and onto the apron.
Brings out our second caution of the night.
Didn't hit anything, but obviously has that
Already
damage
said,
from
yeah.
the contact earlier in the run.
And nosed it into the wall pretty hard there off turn 4.
And that will be a lengthy repair here under this caution.
A lengthy repair.
A lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. We need some Flex Seal.
We do. Or Flex Tape, or whatever the Flex product of the week is. As the field makes their way down pit road, Zach Rogers, one to watch here in the 5, coming in 6th place with a whole head of steam and newbound confidence after getting his laps back. So, will be interesting to see now what he can do on this restart now that he'll be starting up here instead of having to work his way up here. Honestly, so far tonight with Zach and Wiley, the Speedland cars, and Clements now back up here in Tyler, this might be one of the most competitive front-running groups we've had all season, and maybe even dating back to last season. Like, I think everybody from 1st to 6th has a realistic shot at taking home the checkered flag tonight. And there's not very many races where you can look and say that. Usually you have a race where maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 guys set themselves apart from the remainder of the field, but everybody from first on to sixth, maybe seventh, has race-winning speed so far in this field, and it's gonna be really fun to see which one of them comes out on top.
What?
As Brian Voiles is around on the backstretch.
Oh,
Oh,
he's...
and he just backed into Terry Scott. Oh, jeez.
Oh my goodness. Brian, not your strongest moment, buddy.
Looks like Brian got run into there by his teammate Ricky J.
Wow.
And tried to gas it up to get it going, and Terry Scott was right there in the 66.
And the truth comes out.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Got the wave around guys now on pit road, Brian included. So now Monty Keller can get to work on getting that damage fixed. Looks like Greg Lovell, the Bandit, and Magoo all down there with him as well. So it looks like Greg still only a lap down, to Bandit only 2 down, so only 2 cars not on the lead lap so far in this race.
Ricky J should serve a penalty every day. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. I'm gonna be mad that I said that. Be like, why did you say that, Joe? And I'm gonna be like, I don't know, felt like it, you know?
'Cause I can.
The reporting is that even Brian's saying that Ricky took him out, so wouldn't be surprised to see that 68 maybe return the favor. I don't know.
He hit me under yellow.
He did take Terry Scott with him, huh, Kathy?
Just a little bit. Base lights are off, so we'll be going back green next time by. Been the Tyler Mallon show up at the front so far tonight. Ricky J back in second. Of course, these two did battle all of last season for the championship, with the 18 coming out on top. Got the Speedland guys back in third and fourth, and now Zach Rogers back in the top 5 for the first time since falling out of the server on lap 3 from the lead. So we'll see what this 5 car can do when we get back going.
Let's Rodrigo, welcome in.
Still got all 16 cars on track, 14 of which on the lead lap. A lot of racing left to go. Looks like 72 to go at the line.
Alright. Pull those belts tight one more time. Coming back to green lap 48 of 129. And back away we go. Green flag once again here from Darlington. Good jump by the top 3. There, top 4 really able to get some separation from the rest of the field. Varying restarts there.
Yeah, pretty evenly split here amongst this top 5 or 6. And again, I think all of these guys have race-winning speed under their hoods, so as Wiley King brushes the wall there out of 4, and that allows Zach Rogers to get up into 4th. That 5 is on a mission.
Zach trying to have a better comeback than his Niners over the weekend.
That's going to be a hard one to outdo.
Shut up, Dewey.
Wow. It sucks, but it's true.
Ride single file here. 50 laps in the
heartbreaker.
books. Yeah. I'm still heartbroken.
Oh,
Moving on.
I'm heartbroken for you.
Thanks.
Zach with a big head of steam there into 1. Almost got into the back of Steve Grant. Battle behind them. Silver Bullet gets around the 095. And here comes Clemens to try to get around Wiley King as well. So that 095 slipping in the wrong direction here. Looks like down 4 spots since the restart.
Zach Rogers able to take over 3rd.
God. All 7 of these guys up at the front, just in a train, all one behind the other, and they're all super, super fast.
Watching Silver Bullet really applying some pressure to the back of Steve Grant. This is the farthest back that 011 car has been tonight.
And if the farthest he's been back all night's 4th, then he's been having a pretty good night, even though it's about to become 5th right here into turn 1, potentially. And don't look now, but we thought these top 6 or 7 maybe had that race-winning speed. Ken Hansen in that 9 car is not too far behind Wiley King in the 095, so we might have a new player here soon if that 9 car can get himself around him and maybe Clemens here. And really this whole field, Terry Scott, Nelly, Greg Lovell, Monty Kell, all these guys, they're all still really close together since the drop of the green. Not a lot of races where the entire field from top to bottom's been this close together, especially at a track like this that's so tough and abrasive.
And why is this track so tough and abrasive?
Well, old surface, not a lot of groove. All comes together to make the tires not too happy. You gotta really drive it into the corners, of course, which also contributes to an increased tire wear. And you get all that, and it's who can save the most tires and who can manage them the best. And while we were talking about that, Zach Rogers has got himself back up into 2nd place, and he might be challenging for the lead here. That car is a rocket ship, which is fitting with the flames on it. Or started up in 2nd place. Took the lead on lap 2 from that 18. And now about 55 laps later, after dropping out of the server and going 3 laps down, he's on the cusp of regaining it here.
And we talked about it in the open, right, Dewey? We talked about how do you rebound from a mistake. And while it's not a mistake of the drive or what happened to the 5, it's still something that kind of qualifies.
Still something you have to recover from and, make something out of course.
He's done an excellent job tonight.
This race gave him some pretty sour lemons, and he's made some super tasty lemonade out of them.
Lemons aren't even real.
Limeade.
Limes aren't even real.
Okay.
Dewey, you're not even real. Dewey, are you a real person?
The Lemons Aren't Real campaign was manufactured by Big Lime to sell more limes.
I want want to know if there's anyone out there that thinks limes are better than lemons.
Oh, got one in the wall there. Silver bullet in the 4. Keeps it straight, though.
See, these are the conversations that, you know, the guys at Fox or NBC, they usually have during the commercial breaks, but of course we don't have commercial breaks. Now, there's ads that YouTube puts in these videos, but we don't have commercial breaks. We're here the whole time, so limes versus lemons, let us know.
We got ad-free TV here at JTN.
Kind of. Greg says only in key lime pie. What about lemon meringue pie?
Key lime pie is pretty dang good. I haven't had it in a long time, though.
Lemon meringue pie is better.
Joe, you have a lot of good takes. I'm gonna have to disagree with that one.
I don't even think you believe the first part of that statement.
No, I do. I sincerely do. That's not for show. Looks like most of the field starting to get themselves into a rhythm here. Gonna settle in here after.
What's your
Oh, is it a
favorite
vaca-
rhythm?
That's a loaded question.
Are you like a pa-pump, pa-pump, pa-pump guy, or like a...
Can't go wrong with a ba-bump, ba-bump, ba-bump.
Yeah.
That might be what some of these guys' hearts are doing as we get later on in this race.
Nelson Rodrigo in chat asked, what is your pick to win the Clash this weekend as we continue to watch this battle for the lead? Who's your pick?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I hope the Clash is even run to begin with because the forecast looks terrible for the race. There's going to be a lot of rain this weekend, but if it does get going, I mean, Martin Truex won it last year. Had a bit of a disappointing end to the playoffs in the last season, but I think that 19 team is going to be rejuvenated going into this year, and I think he could very well repeat as the Clash winner.
Some smoke there on the front straightaway. Eli, it's slow.
Oh my gosh, Greg Lovell just drifted into the wall there out of 4, and I thought he was dead sideways for a second.
Dead sideways?
Dead sideways. And Eli's still a bit slow there at a turn 2. Would think he might be pitting here this time by. Yeah, the 114 will make it down there to pit road. Gonna lose quite a bit of time, unfortunately, making that pit stop. Obviously, you're gonna lose a lot of time pitting anywhere under green, but
This pit road's just so kind of like... It's a weird pit road too, right?
it's not just the pit road itself, it's actually getting to pit road. You have to slow down so much into turn 3 to keep it on the apron. And with how expansive the apron gets in 3 and 4, you basically have to stay all the way to the bottom of it to actually get onto pit road. So of any track to miss the entrance of pit road on, this one is probably the easiest anywhere. That and probably Dover.
Dover.
Lose a lot of time pitting at Dover too. course, that's part of what makes this track too tough to tame.
Ho, 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 ho.
Oh no, Silver Bullet! Oh my gosh. Just kissed the wall there across the line. I thought that thing was about to nose it right in there and get destroyed, but...
These drivers know the Darlington stripe goes on the passenger side, right?
Yeah, I don't know if all of them got the memo before the race started. He's about the fourth one that's done that. And about the same spot on the track, too.
Just over halfway here. From Darlington, Tyler Mellon has once again dominated this race in the 18. Still out in front.
Battle for second. Actually, that spot has changed hands. Ricky J has gotten around the 5 of Zach Rogers, who looks like he's starting to lose a bit of that steam he had off the restart. Still sitting in third, but perhaps the 5 burned up his tires more than the 2 cars ahead of him.
I think we got a good comment in chat. Looks like the 5 pushed the tires a lot, trying to pass the 18 now, and now it's losing ground. Yeah. I think Zach Rogers, and this has been the thing for this 5 team. They have so much short run speed, Dewey, but they can't get the same long run speed that the 18 has been able to get, and now that the 93s get Ting.
Yeah, Ricky J has been kind of quietly sitting there, just picking off spots one by one so far tonight. Hasn't really pushed the car at all, of course, except for getting into Brian under caution, but did a nice job. Clearly you've saved his tires at least enough to get around that 5, and yeah, I think if Zach's going to win this race tonight, it's going to have to be a short run to the end, because unfortunately we see it in a lot of tracks. That car just seems to taper off a lot on a longer run. Got a couple on pit road, Greg Lovell and DeBandit each getting service there on the pit lane.
Five card to the wall a little bit there. Lonnie Keller is slow on the front straightaway. Oh, and he's going around again.
Oh, jeez.
We're
Is that gonna be a
green.
caution?
No, you stay green.
I think he might have a flat tire. He's kind of struggling to get that thing going. Or maybe just getting it up into gear.
Goes the
A lot
leader.
more damage to the right side of the car now. Post call there out of 4 for Terry Scott in the 66.
Ryan Boyle's down pit lane.
Exit of turn 4 seems to be the trouble spot for a lot of guys. It's get a little bit loose coming out of the corner, and it just sends them straight on into the inside wall. And it's just been a matter of who can keep it out of the wall and who can't. As Greg Lovell gets around Zach Rogers and Ricky J, those fresh tires paying dividends right now for that 088, but of course in the middle of a cycle, so currently 2 laps down to the leader. Looks like Eli called it a night in the 114. So he's our first retiree of the evening. So down to 15 cars left out on the racetrack. And Monty Keller is around in 3 and 4.
That's going to bring out a caution. Caution out for the 3rd time here tonight. Monty Keller once again. And really,
Not sure.
it's just a lazy spin, but he's down there in front of leaders, and I think the official is just willing to throw the yellow here for safety.
Yeah, good call to make there, and not the night, of course, I think he was looking forward to having. But, I mean, he's only 3 laps down, which isn't ideal, but...
It's not ideal. What do you mean?
I mean, he's going to need some cautions, but... If we get some more attrition, he might be able to get some spots back that way, too.
Well, he's got him right where he wants him.
From the leaders down pit road, I'm sure a welcome caution for Zach Rogers, who we saw start to fall back a little bit to the top 2 right before that yellow flew.
Race off pit road, Tyler Mallon wins it. So Dewey, we're sitting here. We're looking at probably one more pit stop before the end of this race. We've kind of had a caution before these drivers have, our leaders at least, have had to make green flag pit stops. Does that worry you at all? With only one stop left, that we haven't had any at-speed practice coming to pit road.
I don't know, because we seem to be spacing out these cautions pretty well. So I guess if trends tell us anything, we'll probably have another one before most of these guys have to come down pit road. And sitting at 49 laps to go, I mean, that gives us about... If we get a caution, I think within 15 laps or so, or at least 15 laps, it'll kind of negate that issue. We'll see, though. I mean, obviously, we just talked about earlier, missing pit road is a very common thing and a very easy thing to do here, but of course, if we get a well-timed caution, then that won't be something these guys have to worry about. Did have a lead change on pit road during those... Oh, never mind. That is a lapped car. I got the 2 Voiles trucking machines mixed up, and I thought Ricky J was ahead of Tyler and not behind him.
I almost did the same thing. See, the wave around's gonna go ahead and get around now.
Still quite a ways to go. Still going to be 48 to go at the restart. in what's been a very exciting race up until this point.
Think you got a couple more twists and turns for us before night's end?
Would not shock me. Mallon still out front. Ricky J second. Steve Grant third. Zach Rogers fourth. Ken Hansen now into the top 5. See if that 9 car has anything for our front runners here.
All right, folks, as you heard it, 48 laps to go. Field's going to make their way off of turn number 4. Tyler Mallon again with the lead here for the restart. Ricky J, Steve Grant, Zach Rogers, Ken Hansen, your top 5. And back away we go. Green flag once again here from Darlington.
Pretty good restart there for both Tyler and Ricky J.
Ricky J running a little bit higher there through turns 1 and 2. Cuts it down. Going to try to get some momentum here down the back straightaway. Not enough to close to the back bumper of the 18. Kind of feeling out this restart. Fresh set of good years has to make things a little more comfortable out there on this tough, worn-out racetrack. Top 5 breaking away.
Yeah, at least it'll make them more comfortable for the time being. We'll see how long that lasts, but...
More comfortable for the time being. Isn't that... That sounds so counterintuitive.
just a little bit.
I'm more comfortable now, but later, Have fun.
I think the best descriptor of that is going to end up being Zach Rogers in the 5. We see how much speed that car has on these short runs, but once we get into a long run and everybody gets settled in, it starts to fall back in the wrong direction. I think given that, it would not surprise me if that 5 just tries to get as much as he can right now and just build up a lot.
I think that's the goal.
Hold them off later on.
And you know you go 24 laps, then you go the other 24 laps, right? If this thing runs green, I wouldn't be surprised to see the 5 try to short pit things, take that risk of, maybe a caution coming out when you'd already come in pit. It's a risk, but the reward's going to be mighty high, because I have a feeling that some of these other leaders, like the 18 and Tyler Mallon, who doesn't really take a lot of risks in the pit strategy all too often. Wouldn't be surprised if that 18 team tries to run the fuel out and then takes less fuel, maybe 2 tires, but most likely 4 with how much wear we've seen. And maybe does a 15 lap stint to end the race instead of what the 5 will do is probably try to split it. At least those are the strategies I would take if I were in those 2 drivers' shoes, but I don't know anything. I'm up here in the booth for a reason.
It wouldn't surprise me if other people try that split strategy like the 5 might, though.
Yeah.
That could be, with where they are in terms of how many laps left, that could be a very popular option for maybe guys like Silver Bullet right now, or Wiley King, or Ken Hansen, where you're on the cusp of being up there contending, but you're just a little too far back to do it, and maybe that risk ends up becoming a home run and you can get those spots you need.
You're not going to pass that 18 continuing to do the same thing that he's doing. It's just not going to happen.
Which is why Tyler doesn't need to ever take pit risks, because everybody else is usually taking those risks to get by him.
And that is what being a dominant champion does, is it kind of gets into the psyche of these other drivers. They think they have to take those risks to even have an opportunity to beat you.
And if the status quo works, it makes the decision to keep yourself at status quo that much easier.
Anything else, Bright, we want to say before we stop this little Little trend we got going. As you watch the battle for the lead, I'd like to remind you we got more great racing action coming up for you here on JTN. Saturday night, Lynn Voiles Memorial Race from the Daytona International Speedway. Special race. Always looking forward to that one. Coverage kicking off at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Dewey and I will be on the call. Then 1 week from tonight, we'll be at Bristol. Weaver and I will be on the call for that one. Our friends right here at the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series. And 2 weeks from tonight, Dewey's back in the booth from the Texas Motor Speedway, February 15th. Coverage kicking off, again, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Those races and much more are going to be live right here only on JTN, presented by SchemeHaven.com. Battle for the lead continues to be hot and heavy here at the front of the field, Dewey.
You know, I'm starting to wonder if Tyler picked up on the 5 potentially using up his stuff to build up a lead. Maybe Tyler's being a bit more aggressive right now than he'd like to try to keep that 5 behind him.
If I'm Tyler, I'd still rather just that 5's to get all over his back bumper there.
Boy, is he ever.
I'd still just let him do what he wants, you know?
I think it's beneficial for Tyler to do it that way. Or maybe Zach figured out something where he can maybe save tires better than he was before. However, with the way he's all over the 18, I'm not so sure about that one.
I mean, just look at the lap times. They're comparable to what, you know, kind of the fastest laps that these two have run in this race. So they're pushing the issue right now, Dewey, is the point I'm making.
Definitely seems that way. Though Ricky J actually ran a faster lap that last time than both of the top 2 did, as did Steve Grant and Ken Hansen. So these guys have been really even all the way through the field. So it's just a matter of whether anybody can find that last little bit they need to get themselves around that 18 machine. A very comparable speed throughout this top 6 or 7 here. So we're at about the low end of the fuel window, where if you pit right now, you'll be good to go to the end. However, pitting right now will result in very, very worn tires, as we've got the 088 slow on the front stretch. I think that might have been a half spin there, but we are still green.
Half spin, a half measure?
Something like that. And I think Greg Lovell's got a flat here.
Well, that's not good.
He went for a full spin, had some contact with Silver Bullet and hit the inside wall, but I'm actually kind of surprised that wasn't a caution.
See him slow there on the apron. Flat tire on that car.
Yeah, tough break there for Greg. Definitely looks like there was a tad bit of contact with him in the 4. But apparently not enough to
Warrant.
trigger the caution flag.
Do you have a warrant for your arrest?
What? Why would that be?
I don't know. I think it's just highway robbery what you're doing to these fans at home.
Oh, unbelievable. So I actually committed tax fraud.
What?
Yeah,
You did what?
I committed tax fraud.
Wow.
Yeah.
Frauding the government. Wow, what a terrible thing.
Yeah. Not my best move there.
Oh.
I think Zach Rogers has yet to make his best move tonight. It's been all over the back bumper of that 18 now for about 10-15 laps and just has not been able to find a way around Tyler Mallon.
There's a chess match right now between these two, right? I mean, Tyler's kind of said, okay, you put all your cards on the table, and even that, you're not able to get by me, right? If you're Zach Rogers, you're just pushing, trying to find something. You know, Zach will go down in the garage and literally call Tyler a robot, just because of how consistent the 18 team is, whether it be the lines that their driver's running, whether it be the setups, and how little fall off they have compared to the rest of the field, to how smooth that degradation in lap time is. You know, a lot of drivers do. They'll drop a couple tenths here, a couple tenths there, then they'll pick it back up 3 tenths, and it'll be a very jagged line. But this 18, as the run goes on, it's a very smooth transition into those slower lap times, and a lot has to go into that and to make that a reality, but a lot of that goes on to the driver for not pushing the car too much at this spot, but also taking what they can get at this one. Overall,
Yeah,
just impressed by the 18.
Yeah, the lap times tend to be like a steady, consistent decline, but it's a very, very, very slow decline. But I'm sure the 5 might be getting a little frustrated here for all we know, though. Just, he knows he's right there, he knows he's got the speed, and just cannot get it done right now. I mean, he's still got 29 laps to go to try to make it happen, but of course the pit stop separates right now from then. So in about 5 laps or so would be when that suggested short pit would take place, so we'll have to see if that's what the 5 elects to do, or if he just tries to run it dry with the 18 and come out of the pits at the same time.
Well, one that might try that too is the 93, Ricky J. He has fallen back mightily behind these two. How the Celtics do tonight, Dewey?
Don't want to talk about it. That could be a conversation for another day. And by other day, I mean never.
Dewey's basketball team did what my team has done more than any other
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, to their biggest arch rivals who were missing their 2 best players. But they're still doing pretty good.
Hey.
Alright. Sometimes you have those off days.
Everybody has those days.
Some way more than others.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Name and address withheld. I think the 18 might finally be starting to get some separation from that 5.
And that 5's in the
Zach's
wall.
in the wall now. Oh no! Don't spin it! Don't spin it!
They both cut the apron there.
Yeah, it worked for the 18, not so much for the 5, as he's going to drop second to Ricky J, and they almost make contact there in the 1.
And Zach Rogers, it's time to pit, buddy.
Oh, and the 93's in the wall too!
Well, here comes
Time
Steve
for
Grant.
both of them. Here comes the old 11. He's going to gain a lot from this.
And Hansen
Yeah,
might
here
also
comes
be
the
able
5.
to
He's throwing
go
it down
by.
into the apron here. Oh, don't overshoot it though. Yeah, he's got it. Just barely. As the 5 will hit pit road here, actually right at the halfway point. 24 laps in. I'm not sure if that's what he wanted to do, but I'm sure hitting the wall right there was a big indication that it's what he should do.
Yeah, and watch see if this 18 matches or if the 93 tries to match too.
Ken Hansen in the wall there down the backstretch.
Wiley King gonna
And-
come to pit road, so will Hansen in the 9.
Yeah, that 95's hit the wall a couple of times too. Pretty beat in there on that right side. I'm sure that can be said for most of the field though. So definitely looks like people saw what Zach was doing whether he wanted to or not and said, maybe that's a good idea. And looks like Steve Grant, oh no, he just let the 93 go. Thought he was slowing down to pit there. As Rogers gets off of pit road. Terry Scott coming down to the pits in the 66. So I think right now Zach's just got to push it as hard as he can. He knows right now he's got way fresher tires at the moment than the 18 does. So of course I'm sure he's hoping that he can just gain as much as he absolutely can before that 18 comes to pit.
And also hopes that we stay green.
Yeah, that too. That's a very, very huge part of it.
As you're seeing a lot of cars around this track, they're hitting the wall, they're getting loose on exit. It's just, it's a cluster out there.
Indeed it is, and this is about the last possible time that one of those things will happen that's caution-worthy.
Alan's starting to get close to that wall too. I think it might be time for that 18 to pit. And I really think it's time for that 18 to pit.
Well, looks like he's going to stay out at least one more lap.
Nope.
Or maybe he's going to try to hang a left right at the last second. And, oh my
There is
gosh,
no way.
Oh my gosh.
Dewey,
I cannot believe he... The right side of the car went through the barrel, and it didn't...
There's a barrel down there?
Or the little yellow dot at the end of the wall. The right rear of the car went through the yellow abutment on the wall. I don't know how it didn't register contact there, because that was ridiculously close.
On board.
Wow. That might be one of the closest calls I've ever seen in this game.
Out and away.
Well, somehow, in some way, the 18 makes its last pit stop without going headfirst into the barrels. Now we'll have to see if the 5 will end up cycling ahead or not.
Well, Joshua Clements and Zach Rogers are both by
We'll have to
the
see
18.
timing and scoring to cycle through. So I don't think Ricky J's pit yet, so...
No. So Ricky J's doing the opposite of what we said, right? He's going to run as long as possible. There he is. Sorry, folks.
Which definitely looks like the 93 is banking on a yellow, which, if it does happen, is going to trap a lot of people a lap down, I think.
And it would give him the freshest tires.
Steve Grant also hasn't come down pit road yet in that 011. Silver Bullet and Magoo also have not, but they're a bit of a ways behind these top two. So it looks like all 4 of them hoping that a yellow were to come out.
This is the battle. You see the 5 and the 92. This is the battle if things get cycled through. This would be the battle for the lead. Clements in that 92. Rogers in the 5.
Yeah, and a heck of a stop for the 92 to get himself back up in contention here. Looks like the 5 has a bit of a speed advantage right now, but I mean, with 15 to go, I wonder how much longer the 93 is going to wait to come on in. Definitely seems to be running the tank dry, but man, he's got to have the worst tires out of anybody right now, and that's a heck of a gamble to make, as Tyler just unlapped himself on Ricky J. I mean, I almost wonder if Ricky J is just going to run it dry and come in for a splash with like 3 to go or something, and then, or however many laps he has left, and try to make it to the end that way. As Magoo pits from 4th, Silver Bullet pits from 3rd, so 2 of our drivers yet to pit have now done so. Down to Ricky J in 1st, and Steve Grant in 2nd.
Just pit.
And there he is. So it's down to the 93. How much longer will he, or can he, stay out? And it looks like the 93 is coming on in too, so this is going to give the lead to Zach Rogers once the 93 stop is complete and he almost did the same thing Tyler did. Ooh-wee.
Well, if it's not difficult, is it worth it, really, you know?
Can't hurt. Looks like Greg Lovell is retired from the race. Not the night he's looking for, of course, in his return, but ran up front earlier on in the race.
Tyler Mallon's still trying to catch this 5 of Zach Rogers. He's still a ways back, Dewey.
I don't think he's I think he's about, looks to be 3.8, 3.9 seconds behind that 5.
But there is a car in between them.
Indeed, the 92 of Joshua Clements. And Ricky J now coming off of pit road, so the 5 is now the leader. And he is coming to take 10 to go at the line. He's about 1.3 seconds ahead of the 92 and about 3.5 seconds ahead of the 18. So Tyler's going to have to make up quite a bit of distance here, and he doesn't have very much time to do it. Looks like he took off 0.3 of a second that time. So if he takes out about 0.3 every lap, he's going to get there on about the white flag.
Well,
so definitely something to keep an eye out for. But not only does Tyler have to worry about Clements there in second, he's got Magoo, the lap car, in between him and Clements as well. So it's going to be quite the tall task for that 18 to get this thing done.
and it would be 2 weeks.
Ricky J is running in between Rogers and Clements.
I think Ricky J is going to get around Rogers here pretty quick.
I would think so.
It would be 2 weeks in a row that the 18 team has had the fastest car and they've lost because of pitch strategy, Dewey. And how demoralizing can that be for a driver?
I mean, I don't know how to, like, obviously it stinks to lose a race that way for Tyler, but look, speaking of Tyler, that move he just made there into turn 1 got by Clements and Magoo at the same time. So, got that checked off the list. But, obviously, you know, these guys had to make a bold strategy move to try to make this thing work and get by the 18, and for right now, it's worked for the 5. And maybe Tyler just has to go to the drawing board and say, maybe I should have done this or that instead of what I usually do. But either way, I mean, it's been a heck of a race for that 18, and second place, if this is where he finishes, still very good in the points.
Saw a replay of that incident, or of the 18 getting on by moment ago.
Yeah, that 92 is falling off pretty quickly. Doesn't quite have the speed in it that he did when he first exited pit road. So we got 6 laps to go this time by. The gap between the 5 and the 18 is down to 1.2 seconds.
Oh, it's closing.
He's
Here comes.
getting a lot more than 0.3 of the lap here. I think the 5 might have used up a little too much of his stuff trying to pull away. And Tyler might get there before the white flag now.
Oh, we're about to get at least one frustrated driver here post-race, Dewey.
In fact, he might get there in like all lap.
Here he
is
comes.
Absolutely flying right now.
And that's about 10
5
laps
to go.
difference on tires. That's what it is, folks.
Yeah, he is there.
Here he comes.
Yeah,
Here
so
he
much about that
comes.
0.3 of lap we were saying. And
Block, block, block.
Magoo's got fresher tires than Rogers does too, so I think he'll stay back there as the lap car, but Magoo could really get by them both and make this interesting if he wanted to. Side by side for the lead. Rogers hits the wall though. And to the lead goes the 18 and... Oh no, Steve Grant's a lap down.
Yep.
And I think just when Zach Rogers thought he had it, turns out he didn't. Oh, boy.
Tyler Mallon just going to try to set sail now in this 18. Again, another dominant performance. The strategy looked like it might play costly for this Interstate Batteries bunch here tonight, but with just 3 laps to go for the 18 team, this race feels like it's all but over.
And it was a good strategy call by Zach. Maybe if he had stayed out an extra lap or two, it might have worked a little bit better as Iowa lets Magoo and Steve Grant unlap themselves.
But really, I mean, we saw it with Zach. I mean, it wasn't like he could stay out that much longer.
Right. I mean, who knows? Maybe if he just tried to muscle it around for a couple more laps, he could have had enough tire here at the end, but coulda, woulda, shoulda thing as Tyler Mallon takes 2 to go here at Darlington. At least to me, with how dominant the 18 was, if you're Zach, it was worth a shot. And came pretty close.
Off of turn 4, 1 lap to go, presented by Death Craver. Again, check out the new book, now out on Amazon's Death Craver. Here on your Death Craver, 1 to go. Again, check out the new book, authored by Zach Rogers, out now on Amazon.
Into turn 3 for the final time. It is Tyler Mallon in the 18, won the pole, led the most laps. Where have you heard that before? And where have you heard this before? He's going to take the win here tonight at Darlington.
Zach Rogers comes home in 2nd, and 3rd place tonight going to go to the 92 bunch, ally car of Joshua Clements.
Great run for that 92.
Hansen comes home in 4th, and Wiley King with another top 5 here to start the year.
Yeah, the 95 didn't quite have the speed on the later runs that he had in the earlier runs, but definitely a great finish nonetheless for that 95 group, and a lot of momentum to build on here for the next run of the season.
Mallon,
That's got to be tough for Zach, though.
yeah.
I mean, on one hand, 2nd place is great for points, but on the other hand, 2nd place is the first loser, so I guess it depends on perspective how you take that finish tonight. As Tyler will burn it down here on the front stretch for, I think, the 3rd time this season?
Yeah.
Already 3 and 5 races, racking up the dubs like last year.
That's how you start a year, Dewey.
A pretty dang good start to the year.
The Tyler Mallon, your race winner. We'll get results on your screens here in mere moments, folks. Again, can't thank you enough for tuning in to JTN this evening. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video. Again, it does so much to help support us. Make sure you're also subscribed. Got a bunch of new stuff coming here in the new year. We hope you're along for the ride. It'll be fun. It's going to be fun, Dewey. The new year's going to be fun.
It is. I mean, we're already having fun.
I mean, we always have fun, but we're really going to have some fun.
Advanced fun.
Advanced fun. All right. Thank you, Miss Kathy. A big thank you, as always, goes out to Brian and Kathy Voiles, Voiles Trucking, for their constant support of not only the Bomb Squad Racing League, but also Bomb Squad Cup Series being broadcast live here each and every week, Thursday nights live, again, right here on JTN. Results on your screens at home now. There they are. Let's go ahead and get a quick word with our friends from AutoSim 2. Have you ever wanted to manage your own racing team? Or what if you could go back in time to see if a particular season could have finished differently? Well, folks, have no fear, because AutoSim 2 is here. With fully customizable roster files, you can create your own world or try to recreate the past. Heck, you could even try to predict the future through AutoSim 2's Sim Mode. Don't like the passive approach? Well, then get more hands-on in Owner Mode, where you decide who drives your cars and what companies will sponsor them. Down on your luck? Well, then scout some new talent that will get you to the top. already super successful, try moving up the ladder or expanding to truly solidify your racing empire. However you want to play, AutoSim 2 has you covered and is now available for purchase through the Steam store for $9.99. Now go make your mark and build your legacy in AutoSim 2. And again, folks, AutoSim 2 is now available on Steam. Always remind you to go check it out again. AutoSim 2 now available on Steam. All right, I'm getting tired of waiting, Dewey. Should we just get aggressive here?
I think we should.
All right, let's get aggressive. Talk with the driver of the number 18 Interstate Batteries Toyota, Tyler Mallon. Tyler, do you got a copy?
I got a copy, Joe.
Hey, I know we dragged you away. I hope we didn't interrupt an important conversation. If we did, they can deal with it. We're more important.
Oh, you're fine. I don't have important conversations.
Wow. Wow. I mean, 60%. Talk about that here to start the year.
60%. Oh, race. Yeah, that's it's been a good start to the season. I'm still recovering from that interesting pit entry with about 20 to go. I need a new fire suit and probably a new seat insert as well. But
you might have some sponsors lining up, you know?
I hope not. After that was I never want to do that again, but that was let's just say that was way closer than I wanted it to be.
How we were talking about there in the closing stages, Zach had a decent lead, but we kind of came to expect the tires to mean a lot. How do you manage that pressure that comes with not necessarily being behind on the strategy, but having to make up so much time in such a short distance?
Well, it's about half a fuel run, I think it was. This track is all about pacing yourself, and when I came out, when I came out of the pits, my first thought to myself was, if I burn up the tires too soon, I'm gonna lose this race. And so I went a little slower than I could have at the beginning of the run, and I'm just glad the tires held on long enough. So as long as they did.
Hey, tires hold on. 112 of 129 laps led tonight, Tyler. Dominant performance once again. Congratulations on the win. Before I let you go, though, I want to give you the opportunity. Great partners again on the car. Great folks to shout out. Floor is yours. You know what to do.
Well, first off, thanks to you guys for broadcasting tonight, as always. Thank you to Interstate Batteries for being on the car, Brian and Kathy Voiles for sponsoring the series, Magoo for putting the show on every week, and everyone in the BSR community for always racing with such respect and putting on a great show every single week. It's by far my favorite place to race. So I want to be here as long as I'm able to. So
you want to be the champion again of this place because it's so much fun to race at?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Not gonna say no.
Fair enough. Well, Tyler, again, congratulations on another win here to start the year. As always, it's a pleasure getting to talk with you. I have a feeling we'll be talking with you more throughout the rest of the season. Looking forward to it. And again, congratulations on the win here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Tyler Mallon, driver the number 18, your race winner here tonight from Darlington. Let's go ahead and next talk with our second place finisher. He's the driver of the number 5, Zach Rogers. Zach, you got a copy?
Yeah.
A little frustrated after tonight's race, or what are the emotions like after having to rally back from the internet going kaputs?
It's not even my internet. It's just the game's being funny.
Oh. Funny how?
Oh, happened last night. My quality just goes whoop, and I don't fall out of TeamSpeak. I guess it's technically half an internet issue, but it's only affecting the game. So, yeah, good rebound.
I was going to say, remarkable rebound, because at one point you're 3 laps down. I know you end up getting some of those back with rules.
They give them all back, yeah, because of the rules. Yeah, you get up to 10 laps on the whole race.
So, obviously that's a big help there, but you still have to do the hard work of driving back through the field. How aggravating, but also how much fun is that at a track like Darlington?
I mean, it's kind of fun, but not really, because you have to burn the right front off to do it. So I mean, we got lucky after the incident happened. We had like 15 lap run, and then we got to the 18 and we just couldn't go anywhere. So I mean, then it was kind of aggravating, but I don't know if it was really fun. It was just kind of, I'm just passing cars, people being courteous, you know.
So, we've heard that you keep calling the driver the 18 robot. So to get on even footing, are you going to get one of those like Tesla, Elon Musk Neuralinks put in your head? That maybe get a little robotness?
I could make a joke, but I don't want to get political, so.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Zach, a great result here tonight once again, second place finish. Before we let you go, want to give the opportunity. Got great partners on the car as always. Got great folks to shout out. Floor is yours. You know what to do.
Yeah, I got to shout out DuPont on the car again this week. We'll have Kellogg's on the car next week for Bristol, where we expect to do terrible. That's our optimistic approach, by the way. Terrible, not awful, terrible. Airheads, Bass Pro Shops, Corsair, Steez T, Lowe's, Rockheed. Got to thank y'all for putting the stream on through Brian and Kathy Voiles, getting you guys to do this. Got to thank Bomb Squad Racing for allowing me to race here. We got our Death Craver One to Go partnership. Check out Death Craver on Amazon. It's Death and then Craver spelled Kraver. A little less enthusiastic interview. This track is tiring, especially when you go long green flag run. But I'm happy to say that compared to the last time I ran here in the Bomb Squad Cup Series, I was super tight instead of super loose. So we'll work on that at some point, maybe. I don't know. I want to shout out my buddy at work, Scott. If Scott's been kind of watching these, hopefully he enjoyed enough Oreos while he did. If he checked us out or not. I want to also shout out my cousin Nate if he tuned in or not. He's a big racing fan. So, yeah, and the only other thing I gotta say, Joe, is bang bang Niners gang, Super Bowl baby.
Zach Rogers, driver of the number 5, your second place finisher here tonight. Zach, as always, it's a pleasure to talk with you. Can't thank you enough for your support of us here on JTN. And again, buddy, congratulations on another second place finish to the 18 car.
Yep, I'll see you next week, Joe. Hopefully you won't not want to talk to me for too long
just
because of that little thing.
It's always a pleasure to talk with you, Zach. Congratulations. Zach Rogers, driver number 5, your second place finisher here tonight from Darlington. Let's go ahead and finally talk with our third place finisher, driver the number 92, Joshua Clements. Joshua, you got a copy?
I do.
Third place finish. How's it feel with that Ally Financial Chevy?
Feels good. Yeah, first podium in Bomb Squad, which is nice. It's a difficult race, but the finish third in the end with some good strategy is a good end to the race.
Take us through that. I mean, it's a big call there to pit when you did and do what you did. Why was that the call that you made in that moment, in that situation?
Yeah, well, I short pitted earlier, and then the caution came out right on pit road, so that didn't work out for me. And then I was just kind of burnt off my tires and just kind of stuck in 7th. And so I looked, and there was no one lap down. Everyone was 2 laps down on the late lap. So I went, okay, well, if I pit, worst case, I get lucky dog and I come out 11th, and I could probably work my way back up here anyways. So just cut it in half and then see if any ground make up. So it wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't that big of a risk to pit when I did, because I felt like I'd finish about the same way anyways if there was a caution. So it worked out in the end, though.
Racing up there with the 18 and the 5, how much fun is that, knowing all the success they've had this year? And then, of course, you mentioned it first, your first podium of the year. How much fun is it to race at a track like Darlington that is the toughest one we will go to all season? And then also know that you're racing with some of the toughest competition in all of NR2003, really.
Yeah, no, it's always a good day when you're able to keep up with them. I didn't do much racing there at the end because they had, obviously, were quicker and then had fresher tires, so they kind of went by me pretty quick. But it is good, keep up with them, keep them in eyesight is always the first goal and first step towards winning. So it was a good step in the right direction, and hopefully can continue getting podiums from here on out.
Joshua, again, congratulations on the third place finish here tonight. Before we let you go, I want to give you the opportunity. You got great partners on the car. I'm sure you got some great folks to thank. The floor is yours to do so.
Oh, I don't know. Thank my parents for getting me. Well, this is like a hand-me-down wheel, but they're for supporting me, and my brother for buying this wheel 10 years ago that I now use to drive now. So, but yeah.
Heck yeah. Joshua, again, congratulations on finishing third. It's a pleasure getting to talk with you for the first time this year. Hope we're talking with you more throughout the rest of the season. Congratulations, and yeah, hope to be talking with you again soon.
Yeah, I'll see you next week.
Joshua Clemens, driver the number 92, your third place finisher here tonight from Darlington. Well, Dewey, that's going to wrap up our coverage. 3 different perspectives on the end of this race, and well, I think we had a good one tonight at Darlington. We're going to have another good one next week at Bristol.
We're gonna have a good one on Saturday, of course, as well. We've got the Lynn Voiles Memorial Race up at Daytona. Those will be with the trucks, though, which will be different than what we're used to seeing on JTN for Bomb Squad. So that'll be a really fun one.
You like to draft, right? You're a big drafter.
Definitely a big draft.
Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. 100 laps. It's gonna be great.
And Bristol, always a tough place to go to and try to conquer. Of course, Darlington and Bristol back to back is quite the challenge for these guys, but I'm sure they'll be up for it.
Oh, they're going to be ready for it. And folks, if you're ready for it, you want to make sure you're subscribed. Click the bell icon so you don't miss it and keep those notifications turned on. Remember, follow us on our social media at JoeTowNetwork on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're on all of them at JoeTowNetwork. It's the easiest way to follow us. Remember to check out new episode of the Fake Racers podcast to kick off this year. Came out earlier this week over on JTN2. We encourage you to go check that out on that platform. With all that being said, though, a big thank you has to go out to all of our friends here at the Bomb Squad Racing League, the admins for, as always, doing a great job, and a special thank you, as always, to Brian and Kathy Voiles Trucking for their constant support of the BSR Cup Series live each and every week here on JTN. With all that being said, though, folks, for all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for my colleague Dewey Schramm, I've been Joe Towanski. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks.
Yeah, and they're gonna be 3 wide coming to the checkered. Never mind, they're gonna be. Oh! Turn 4 into the trioval, Whitehill and through the grass. It's gonna be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
Off the line and a wreckage behind him. You have cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down, it doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in a 3 car.
Behind, they're going to be side by side again. Contact there between Cinder and Bordeaux for
Oh, the contact! Oakley into the wall. That's going to be Jack Healy coming to the line.